That's the Suidas, pre-Spanish, del Uxmal. Okay, the World Heritage Plaque, which is inscribed back in 1996, UNESCO, and it's the prehistoric Spanish archaeological site of Uxmal, an ancient Mayan home. The state of Yucatan, and at the archaeological World Heritage Site of Uxmal. Uxmal, is that right? Uxmal. And it's located in Santa Ana Valley. And what's interesting is that there's a tax to be paid for the federal government as well as the state government. Yes, of course, you need to pay for using the land and visiting this heritage site, but why does a federal tax be collected from people? And if that's the case, why is this rubbish been built here and then destroyed? We got a pre-Hispanic history just there, which has lasted for so long, and this is a modern history here. It's completely derelict, it's gone, it's totally. So it quite clearly explains history of thousands of years can last for thousands of years. History of the modern days will last only for 5 years. Oh no, not even that. Look at the state of this building, how ugly. To see a site absolutely from pre-Hispanic history stood for thousands of years. The modern creation only lasted for 5 years, or not even that. The Mayan magic temple of Maya. Here I'm in Uxmal. The structure has stood here for thousands of years before the Spanish, well, how would you call it? Spanish traders, explorers, or invaders. The three of those, what would you call it? It's down to the individual to understand the prospect and the principles of how the Spanish, when they came here, what did they do to the land? What did they do to the locals? What did they do to the Mayans? And what did they do to the Mayan history? And the structure that stands here stays for 5,000 or 3,000 years old. Yet the Spanish history starts for 500 years here, and the modern history, the buildings around here, are not less than 5 years, and they're already dilapidated, they're broken, they're destroyed, and they have been wasted. So all we are doing is, as we progress, the progress is very, very little. We are speeding up the process of breaking things faster and faster. Why? The simple reason, because of profit-bearing corporations that extract, squeeze out of all the world's natural resources, and to manufacture those items, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy being used. And here, the only energy that was used was the muscle power. The human effort was what was used just here, and this stood for millennia. The Spanish history, if you went to Campeche, you will see that is almost breaking away. And again, from here to Spanish history, and then from the Spanish history to the modern history, which is the modern structures that we build around the world. They're breaking apart. They can't stand as long as these structures stood here for a very long time. So the humanity should understand very much one principle. If we want to protect our environment, if we want to protect our future, we need to first of all sustain all living matter. We need to hold on to the living matter, not to partition the living matter and break away. That is the sky, the air, the water, the soil, the earth, and so on. Yeah, the temples were designed for the god of rain. Now these were the old days. The people just believed in the natural phenomena. And if we have to protect our world for the future, we need to go back to all the Mayan cultures and all the indigenous cultures of this world and understand how they balance their life and how do they balance the perfect unity between the environment, the sky, the air, the land, the ground, the soil, and everything that surrounded them. And instead of disturbing the pattern of that natural cycle and altering that pattern of natural cycle. Uxmal, dedicated for god of rain here, and this site is one of the many in Yucatan. The Mayan heritage, the Mayan history was formed and part of this land here, and it's incredibly beautiful out there. Okay, there we go. Look at this. This is life. This is the true life. Experience the life what the ancestors left with honesty. These guys were innocent. They believed in the natural phenomena, the sky, the wind, the air, the earth, the land, the living matter. They believed in that, and they prayed for that living matter to balance the life of their existence on this temporary life on this earth. They never extracted anything from here. They never extracted down below the ground for energy. The energy was all of theirs. They burned fat, the body fat. They never burned oil. They never burned anything that was extracted off the ground to construct and create these amazing temples, amazing structures to build and create these kind of more godly entities on the planet, so that the rest of the population of the connected civilization of Maya were devoted honestly and truthfully to the way of life, the way of preserving the earth's living matter. Oh. The city of Uxmal. They mess it up even here. Us. The modern society has broken even this beautiful part of the temple, or the temple of winds. If you look here, the stings, the bats, it's dilapidated. It's such a sad story, and that can't happen. We must not allow this to happen. Now, the old days, this is the structure that stood open to the sky. Of course, just like in the Spanish and the modern architecture, the old architecture is slowly crumbling away because we are creating this amazing imbalance in the environment. And there's Commodores, love. Chameleon. Huh? Chameleones. There's a modern history. Is it? Is it Spanish history? Or is it pre-Hispanic? Or is it called the pre-Hispanic? What does that mean? Before the Spanish, the land was already occupied by the owners of this land. The Mayans in Yucatan, we called it. They have their own names. Uxmal. Spelled as UX. Well, the language from the old days to this modern day has been just no meaning. there's a translation to every word, every language that we speak around the world. The old language, here's the old language. People didn't speak that much about their past. They created these enormous and giant, most amazing structures for an unknown entity, which in their name is called a god. In our name, we created a god to create money, create profit, create greed, create all of that. And all of those religions have done just that, broken the balance and created an imbalance and created a disparity in the society. The landowners of here, to enter for me, I had to pay a tax to the local community, but that would not go to the local community. As I was driving through here, all I saw was those people walking with firewood, collecting firewood. They're not disturbing, they're still preserving our nature's imbalance that we have created in a modern society. Those poor souls, that owners of this land, are not benefiting from any of those taxes, the state tax as well as the federal tax, and it's going towards, of course, I don't have to answer that question. I'll leave it to question yourself, whoever watches this video. Yes. Okay. El Palacio di Governo. The government palace, even from the old days, it lies upon the platform of 8 to 12 meters high and 170 meters long, and it's 170 meters wide, and the structure is 98 meters on the front. 3 sections, and it's very tall. Yeah, there you have it. A Mayan architectural sculpture, masks of the god Chac, C-H-A-A-C, Chac, adorn its 4 corners, and they are also placed diagonally, creating the serpent molding. Yeah, the serpent is one of those. It's again the nature and the living matter that was picked up on here as well. Yeah. And it actually dates back to 900 to 1000 AD, and it's just absolutely amazing. There we have it. Okay. Government building from the old Maya times. Or how would we know? How would we know? Who was there to translate all of this information? And along the way, how much of that information was missed or been suppressed? The data for modern purposes or modern reasons. And yes, of course, the archaeological findings, and the archaeologists might come and dig some of these things and say, right, yeah, we found this in this time of the period. Yes, that's all translatable. All we know is that we are creating so much of different information. Somebody else with the modern technology will come and say, no, this is the right thing. Again, that information from the old archaeological findings had not been proven honest and truthful. But at the time they had, the tools were available for them to only explain about so much. For that reason alone, they couldn't give all the information and all the details, because the people here, the Mayans, did not survive to tell their stories because they were killed by the Spanish, and they were suppressed, and they were kept quiet by the royalties of Europe. And that's exactly what has happened. So the history, it goes to what the Europeans have discovered through their own findings. But is that the truth? No, they never lived here. They never built these structures. Features have been, or these sort of sculptures has been featured on the main facades of the temples and the buildings, the structures that are built. Yet again, as you possibly discovered through my videos, I don't explain about history or anything about it. What I'm experiencing is what I'm seeing, is what I'm explaining about our differences and what we have, how far we have come with history, how far we have come to year 2014. Even that is debatable. Now, who is to determine the year 2014 is a calendar that the entire world should follow? Yes, of course. If you want to discover money, if you want to earn money, you need to follow the Christian calendar, which is 2014 now, and the year ends now. If you follow the Chinese calendar, that'll be a different one. If you follow the Indian calendar, that'll be a different one. If you follow the ancient Mayan calendar, it'll be totally different. If you follow the ancient Aztec calendar, it'll be a different date, and it'll be a different month. It'll be a different this, different that. All that is different is because we have got different ideas. None of us work together for the benefit of the other. We never pulled ourselves together to contribute to our living, to our existence, to our world. All we did was came up with an idea and yeah, that'll be good. And then we have the Muslim calendar, then we have the Hindu calendar, then we have the Buddhist calendar, then we have the Jewish calendar, and so on and so forth. And it carries on. It carries on. So, yeah, if you want business, if you want to work with the British, if you want to work with the newly found, the global empire, which is United States, and that represents the entire world's population in one city. Yes? And that's what I call greed. And this is what I call free and ever-embracing society, the old. And good and bad is what you put in your head. It's your thoughts. It's not mine. It's not anybody else's. It's your thoughts. Even these comments is what you make of it. What would be if you argue about the modern technology and the modern know-how and put it together with the ancient technology. If you look at the cement, it didn't last for more than 5 years, did it? If you look at the stone structure, it lasted for almost 1,000 years. So what we have done is created something to break very quickly. Why? So that we would have to use it again to redo and rearrange the whole thing. So with the ancient technology and the ancient know-how, which is up here, and the modern know-how, which is this cement on the floor, is cracking already. So we in the society have created something to break so easily so that the consumer can carry on buying it and making it such a disastrous future for the entire world. Because we are going to end up faster and faster. We are consuming into the world's natural resources. Faster and faster we are speeding up the breakup of the human society. Faster and faster we're breaking the elements of living matter. Faster and faster we're breaking the imbalancing act of creation in our modern society. Faster and faster, all we are doing is actually slowing down the future of our humanity. Yes, that's exactly what we are creating around us. Here I am on back at the government building, the Mayan structure that was built here. And look at all these ladders. Look at these structures. I don't know, the history says that it stood for thousands of years. See, they've taken it off. So human beings, we have come and created a UNESCO World Heritage. Now, UNESCO World Heritage is supposed to preserve it, not take it off and redo it. Yes, archaeologists say, yeah, take it off, reslap it with new cement. They're not going to last for 5 years. They're going to repaste it and redo it again. Look at all these structures, how it has been created in the past. So we, in the last 50 years, have created such a disaster for our humanity. We think we have progressed forward. No, what we have done is we've taken out even the part structures like these that stood here for more than 1,000 of years. I don't know which calendar too, but it's stood here for a very long time, in simple words. In simple words, it stood here for a very long time. And I'm not explaining anything about the history of this place. You can all read about the history of this place. But what I'm explaining here and what I'm expressing here is that what are we doing to our world? And what are we doing to our history or the ancient times, the ancient structures, the ancient sites of this world? Leave them alone. Don't impede, don't impact on the balance of these structures. And it stood there for thousands of years. It stood there for a long time. I don't know for how long, but it stood there for a very long time. Don't come and destroy that value system that's there on the land. Leave it alone. The shrine is built upon square pedestal. Hey! Now, who was here to explain about the history of this? Is it the archaeologist? Was it the Mayans? Was it somebody else who came in who understood nothing about the culture? Express their findings of what it was. Yes, it's called the Picota. Adoration de la Picota. There we have it. Government building, the main square, the main plazas, and so on. Well, I'm told, according to the guide there, it's a jaguar. Now, what did the old Mayans say? Oh, were they Mayans? Were they called Mayans, or did they call themselves Mayan? Or what was the civilization? Well, somehow, all you can say is these structures were here. These structures have been built for some very long period of time, and it's been here. And we come along and put terms of words. The jaguar is strength of life, is it? Is it? Or is it translated differently? And we come and extinct that natural animal, that natural life. The jaguar is no longer to be found because the man took away for greed. The history has preserved this animal, and we come along and we destroyed every element of living matter and distorted all living things. And how long are we going to carry on? Faster and faster. We are progressing or we are decreasing? We are decreasing.